Hello, my name is Carolina Taylor, and I'm a senior accounting student at Emporia State, and today I'm going to be talking to you about lessons I learned in the Classroom to Career program. So there are 4 areas that they really want us to touch base on with this presentation. They really focused on in the program, listed above. And so just starting off with those, I want to focus on global and intercultural fluency. They really want us to focus on evaluating the locations we would be interested in working at in the future and the main points that go into that decision for us personally. And so for me, I focused on two areas. So opportunities and comfort. Opportunities first. Obviously, having that job that you're actually interested in the location is obviously important. And that first step for me, because if you don't have that job that you're actually interested in, you're not going to be happy or successful. And so segueing into the next area and opportunities is entertainment. For me personally, I think that you need to have some type of entertainment that you actually really enjoy and needs to be relatively close, whether that's a concert or a movie, just having something that can be your outlet. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs something aside from just work to go home to that makes them happy. And so having that in the location is very important. And so the next area is comfort. For me personally, I'm really close with my family, and so finding a location that was close enough to them that I can travel home with ease, but also far enough away that I'm not constantly going home was really important. So kind of that medium. And so for me, that was very, very important. And then also traffic levels, finding the level that I'm actually comfortable with. A lot of locations like San Diego or Las Vegas have really busy traffic. I am personally not comfortable with that yet, and so finding a location that had much lower levels of traffic was really important. And so with those, I was able to decide on Wichita, Kansas. I actually just completed an internship with Ernst & Young in Wichita, and so this really paired really well with this assignment in this program, because I was able to take the things I was learning online and actually apply them to living there on kind of a temporary basis and see if they actually were true and how I felt. And so for a staff accountant at Ernst & Young, you are salaried at about $55,000. That's a little off, but they're about. And so the overall cost of living in Wichita is about $51,000. And so it's right about what you'd be making as a salaried staff accountant and kind of the beginning of your kind of career with them. And so they're very close, but overall, I found that the cost of living is 34% lower in Wichita than it is at the national average. And so while that number is still pretty large, it's smaller in comparison. And so next, within Wichita, there are like different points that I really found within researching it and then actually living there that I really wanted to emphasize, that I appreciated. And so that was strong focus on developing skills. They actually have programs set up in the town or city that really focus on getting those young professionals out and getting them to network and interact and building those relationships and those skills, which I thought was really important as a city overall and then for those young professionals, so which would be me in a couple of years. And so overall, the strong positive atmosphere. The town itself is really focused on interactions and community and just having that connection to each other, which I really enjoyed. And so kind of tying back into the last one, I found out that the largest age group in the city is actually 25 to 44-year-olds. And so that's great for me to know, because going in, I'll be about 22 to 23 when I actually move to the city. And so knowing that there'll be a lot of other people in that age range for me to interact with is really important. And again, the town itself is consistently growing, interacting, and changing, which is great to know for overall the progress of the city. And so career management. For me, accounting is slightly different than most jobs. A lot of people either focus on going to graduate school or getting a full-time job offer. And so for me, with accounting, they kind of go hand in hand. Typically, to get a full-time job offer, you have to have all of your education in, or vice versa. And so for me, obviously, the next step in my professional career would be getting my master's. This will allow me to be able to have 150 hours, and be eligible to sit for the CPA. And so kind of ties into my next goal with eventually being a manager at a public firm. To be a manager, you have to have your CPA. So again, kind of master's and CPA, the manager. They're all kind of big steps, but chronologically, they all work together really well. And so throughout this program, I was able to really utilize Handshake at the beginning, of course, with getting those interactions with different companies and finding out more information about them and positions that they had open. And so I actually didn't know a whole lot about Ernst & Young before I really looked into them on Handshake, so that was really key for me. And I've learned moving forward in my career that LinkedIn is going to be a really big asset. A lot of the people that I interacted with on a daily basis at my internship and just in general in my career, I've noticed that networking is key. And so LinkedIn is a great way for us to kind of make those connections now, but also maintain them over a long term. So that's really handy and ties really well into the key things I learned at the executive hour I attended, which is a great program. You all should really attend. And so networking is lifelong. Just because you meet someone right now doesn't mean, that connection's still going to be constant in the future. And so, just making sure you interact with them kind of on a regular basis, really build that relationship up so that whenever something would come up, you have that person to contact. And then physical networking. Everybody would rather, just type out an email, but it's not necessarily effective. Really getting out and actually interacting with that person on a physical level, whether that's just shaking their hand and talking and having a conversation that way, or a phone call, it's really important. It's really a basic thing that a lot of people don't really think about. But that was one really takeaway that I really appreciated from the executive hour. And so with career management, a lot of focus was on our resumes and kind of what can we do to improve them. And for me, what was really key was understanding what to highlight, both on my resume and then after reading and evaluating just job descriptions in general. What is key for that job and how do I convey that through my resume? And within my resume, what is actually important? What can be taken off? Which is really key for me. And so with this whole program, we actually got to job shadow different individuals. And so for me, I job shadowed somebody within Ernst & Young. And so I really got to see their different aspect on their position within the firm that I was a part of. And so what I really took away with that or from that was the importance of communication skills and time management. Being able to interact with your client and your coworkers on a basic level, really developing that relationship again, go back to networking, but really kind of developing that relationship into something that can benefit you in the long run is really important. And time management, with the firm, you are constantly dealing with different people and supervisors, and so just kind of understanding how to handle time is really key. We talked a lot during my job shadow on what specifically she used as in just ways to prioritize. And so interacting with people on a constant basis and kind of letting them know, hey, what's going on with this? And, does it vary within priorities of everything else? And just really developing that understanding is really important. And so professional references. Very important in any career, having those people you can go to and kind of that will vouch for you or you can pull information from. Everybody has different skills and different knowledges. And so having that group of people that you can only, that you can interact with on a comfortable level and really draw from is really important. And so going forward with career management, we have kind of the basic aspects that I looked at whenever I was deciding what company I wanted to look into. And so for me, company culture was really important, finding a company that would be focused in, but also feel comfortable enough with asking questions or interacting with people. Being far from home, it was kind of important for me to have that family atmosphere and that friendly atmosphere. So that was really important. And also focus on community service. For me personally, I love to serve different communities and just interact with people. So finding a job that actually had that also was really important. And so from a job aspect, it was really important for me to find something that was changing, something I wouldn't just be seeing the same thing every single day. And so public accounting, very great at changing and just kind of getting you to interact with different areas of accounting and business overall, and just kind of seeing where the connections are made between them and how those interact, which I really appreciated. And so career management, again, career services was a vital resource for me. I really used them to develop a plan overall for what I was doing with interviews, with resumes, just overall that plan of what to do going forward. And then I really used them as kind of a source to evaluate between if I wanted to go private or public, the differences between them, how my personality would vary between them, which was really interesting. And I also, again, kind of gained understanding of the timeline associated with accounting. Accounting, again, is very different than a lot of positions in a lot of fields. So understanding that, you're probably going to look at internships, that'll transition into job offers, they'll then transition into, furthering your education was very different, and the timeline overall for that's different. And so leadership was the next big spot that they wanted to cover. And so personally, I'm a quiet leader. I don't want to necessarily just go out and just say whatever or do whatever I think is necessary. I really kind of want to evaluate what other people are thinking and their opinions before I really take action. Again, kind of utilize more members on my team versus just myself. I have limited knowledge, but somebody else can provide more on a certain area, making sure I utilize that person also. And then again, that kind of transitions into my problem solving. Kind of start with the facts and then kind of assess the issue based on importance. So not everything's going to be, it has to be done right this second. And so kind of being able to develop that plan of, okay, what do we need to focus on at this moment and why, and how that will transition into the solution. And so overall on my resume, I really focus on team skills in regards to leadership. I mean, most positions aren't transitioning into some type of team setting. And so being able to utilize that is really important. And then I focus on mentoring roles I've had in the past, specifically with tutoring. Mentoring is kind of a different role in leadership, but it's still really important. And so I feel like that's a strong asset that I have moving forward. And so examples. Within my job shadowing, I was able to follow along a staff accountant and really see how they interacted with their overall appointed leader of the group. And so how they prioritized issues, how they included others in the decision. This leader was actually relatively new for the position. And so overall, just how he used other people to really kind of have that knowledge and support for making his decisions was really important for me. And so I'm currently actually the treasurer for Hornets for Hope, which is the suicide prevention organization here on campus. And so with that, I've really been able to gain experience with working with different individuals. Everybody's different, has different styles. And so being able to see that and kind of develop those skills early on is really important for me in my career. And then suicide prevention can be a difficult topic. Likewise, problems within accounting can be really difficult to talk about. And so really being able to kind of start that conversation and interact is really important for me moving forward with my career. And so overall with communication, verbally, I'm a little iffy, as you can tell probably. Really easy to convey my emotions associated with topics. However, I typically get tongue-tied very easily with professional terms. And so that's definitely an area I need to work on. I definitely worked on a lot with that with my internship, with asking for feedback from my professionals I was working with, and then practicing that on a daily basis. And then moving on, written communication. I'm really great with describing situations on a piece of paper with directness. A lot of times issues need to be handled in a calmer, clearer manner, and so understanding that and being able to do that's really important. And so strategies, overall, I took away that I need to limit kind of the information I provide and kind of tailor that to what the company is actually focusing on. Not everybody wants to know everything, so kind of preparing examples ahead of time is really important. And then for the future, I need to work on my soft skills and understanding the environment and needs for that specific task, and then continue to practice on all of the things I've already mentioned. here are my references.